Welcome back. Now, Commonwealth Day is the annual celebration of the Commonwealth of Nations, often held on the second Monday in March. There are 56 countries within the Commonwealth who work together for prosperity, democracy and peace. Commonwealth Day is observed by 2.5 billion people in Commonwealth countries across the world. The theme for 2023 is Forging a Sustainable and Peaceful Common Future. Now joining me in studio is the Kenya High Commissioner to Namibia, Michael Sialai, to talk about Commonwealth Day that will be observed at Parliament today. Good morning, High Commissioner. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you, Madam Elago.
Happy Commonwealth Day.
Happy Commonwealth Day, you too.
Thank you so much, High Commissioner. Now, as I mentioned, this is a day that is celebrated by Commonwealth countries. So perhaps just explain to us and to our viewers why it is so important to celebrate a day of this nature.
Thank you. Of course, Commonwealth Day is a day celebrated by 56 countries, as you said, that were previously colonized by the British. I mean, including the British itself. And it came in 1949. These are countries that when they got independence, they formed a political association called the Commonwealth. And it is important to celebrate this day because those countries share certain ideals, principles. They have historical ties, where they have come from. And it's always a day to remember where we've come from. People who know the history will really know where they are going. And therefore, it is important for us to look at it again and say, where have we come from? Where are we going as Commonwealth countries?
Necessary to create this political association.
There's many things that they do share, actually. If you look at the Commonwealth, in terms of political, socio-economic relations, affiliations, they have a lot to share in common. Issues of the law, the Anglo-Saxon Roman law, it emanated from there. The issues of governance, the issue, if you look at the separation of powers, where we have the executive, we have the legislature, the judiciary, that really emanates from there, from these countries. If you look at many things, did you even know that even when you are driving, you are using the left side because we are following the British ourselves as compared to the others? And there's a lot of things that the countries share. And after independence, there was an idea that even though now we are independent states, like Namibia, like Kenya, there will still be a lot to learn from the previous colony. But more importantly, also learning from the other nations. There's a lot to learn, and the practices, the best practices that are coming out in the market, if you look at Namibia, it's vibrant in terms of freedom of press and even democracy. So we would expect one other country to learn from the other country, and that is why it's always good to keep on celebrating and working together closely. And issues of trade, there is a lot of relationship between those countries across the board. And many other things, issues of human rights, by the way, and many other things, and governance.
Now, this year's commemoration is very significant because it also marks the 10th anniversary of the signing of the Commonwealth Charter, which was first signed by Her late Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth II. So, you know, when we celebrate a day of this nature, what exactly then are we celebrating?
Of course, as you said, it's true. This is the first time we're going to have this celebration without Her Majesty the Queen II. And also it will be the first time that will be presided over by His Majesty King Charles III. And we are all looking forward to having his statement read and know what he has in mind. But it shows that, you know, despite all those changes that have taken place, we are all still one. There is a lot to learn from the Commonwealth. And in addition, I think there are new things that have come into the market. The issue of climate change. If you look at the theme saying forging sustainable and peaceful common future, you know, things that we're facing as a country. And therefore, if you look at issues of peace, if you look at issues of environment, mainly environment, the climatic conditions that have changed because of climate change, there is really need to celebrate but focus on it. I mean, climate change means weather patterns changing. We are now looking at the long droughts. You must have seen it even here in Namibia. Even in Kenya, at the moment, you are facing long droughts. Just been speaking about the issue of Somalia, people crossing, rising levels of the seas. That affect the small islands. Some of them are members of the Commonwealth. And generally, the conflict, you've seen the storms and all that. So even as we work together in other issues, I think the emerging issue now, like climate change, is a matter that the Commonwealth really wants to address itself to it. Yeah.
Now, you have touched on briefly, you know, on the issues that are said to benefit countries that are part of the Commonwealth. But if you were to explain it, you know, in simple terms, what do the 56 countries that are part of the Commonwealth actually really walk away with, you know, being part of this association?
Okay. The Commonwealth has a number of bodies. One of them is the heads of state and government, where they normally meet. They met last time in Rwanda, and they, you know, they pronounce themselves on a number of issues like democracy, peace. That is one. And then two, we have another organ, the Commonwealth Secretariat in London. They also have ways where they interact with the countries. We may also be aware that during elections in these Commonwealth countries, we send observers, and you know, at the end of it, they observe the election process. There's another arm, the parliamentary one, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, which is part of the Commonwealth, where members of Parliament annually meet, and they discuss issues of common interest to all, and they raise issues, and there's a lot to exchange. If you look at Kenya and Namibia, in the democratic road, the parliamentary system, there's a lot we borrow from one another, and the culture. You know, you are talking about Asia, Europe, you are talking about Pacific, Africa. In all this interaction, people exchange ideas and culture, and it builds that oneness. When you belong to a body, obviously there are certain ideals that must be adopted, like democracy, human rights, the issue of the youth and the women, the role. All these are promoted within the Commonwealth. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that explanation, High Commissioner. Now, looking at the theme for this year, which is forging a sustainable and peaceful common future. What does this theme speak to, and do you think that it actually does address the current issues?
Yes, if you look, as you have said, the theme, forging sustainable and peaceful common future. First is the word common. You know, it affects all of us as a Commonwealth nation. Previously, there have been critics that what is it, the Commonwealth we are sharing? But it is, we are a number of ideas and ideals. And sustainable, especially on the issue of climate change, is a matter that really they want to address a number of issues affecting, as I've indicated already, and they want to sustain it. You know, that goes beyond just having a meeting and discussing. The issue of women and youth involvement in development and their welfare is a matter that countries must also put in place structures, measures to attend to that. The issue of governance and democracy, these are the things that really, we cannot go back. We must always push and ensure that all countries in the Commonwealth, you know, have good governance and all that. And these are realities. And of course, I've said climate change is something with us today. And that was a theme that we need now to focus in areas that are really affecting all of, and they are there, as we see it today. Human-animal conflict because of the climate change, lack of food, lack of water. These are realities, and as they meet, what things are we putting in place to address those challenges? Yeah.
All right. Now, in Namibia, as I mentioned in my introduction, the day will be celebrated at the Parliament Gardens. Could you please maybe take us through the activities that will make part of the celebration?
Okay. Thank you. In most countries, by the way, the day is celebrated in all the parliamentary institutions all over the world. Even in Kenya, we normally have it. Today, we are looking at the possibility, us sitting in Parliament, in the Parliament Garden. We're going to have the leadership of Parliament led by the chair of the National Council, all high commissioners from the Commonwealth countries who are here in Namibia, and then and the children and other people who have been invited. Thereafter, will be cultural activities, and this depicts now the cultures of the different cultures of people of the Commonwealth. When you go to Asia, you know, there's something unique about it. When you go to the Caribbean, there's something unique about it. Today will be seeing something unique about Namibia.
Yes.
Because the children from pupils from the Commerce region will be coming in.
Okay.
And then after some speeches, the climax actually is the delivery of the message of His Majesty King Charles III by the chair of the National Council, Honorable Lucas Maho. That is really the key, because it will be read. And thereafter, we are going to have part 2 of it, which is a sampling of the cuisines from different parts of the Commonwealth. For us in Kenya, we're going to have tea, we're going to have coffee, we're going to have chapati. We also have a special rice called pilau. So, so each High Commission has set their sides to showcase. So even as we interact and have some lighting, each country will have something to show. And that is why I came, because this is one of the things we are going to be taking a cup of tea. Okay. This tea is a Kericho cold pure tea.
Produced in Kenya?
From Kenya, produced in Kenya.
Okay.
And it is a tea bag. So what happens is that you boil water, and then you boil it in the cup. Yes. You put the tea bag. You can take without milk, or you can add some milk and stir it and have it. And it is interesting. I came with it so that I can show you and also hand it over to you, so that as you interview, when you have a cup of tea, you can always taste it and remember Kenya. And I'm asking Namibians really we have tea and coffee original made in Kenya. This is made in one of the regions in Kenya where I come from, Kericho Tigron area. And
Thank you so much, High Commissioner. We truly appreciate it. Now, looking at this tea, is it a black tea?
It's black tea.
Okay.
Actually, black tea. Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful packaging.
Yeah. And it's a tea bag. So you really just do like this when you go back and put in the hot water and stir it, black or with milk, and you'll be home and dry. Okay. And I'm encouraging my Namibians to use it because it's really good. Okay. Yeah.
Right. No, we will try it, and Lot and I will definitely give our review on the program. Thank you so much, High Commissioner. Now, in conclusion, could you please share with us your final remarks as far as the Commonwealth Day is concerned?
Yes. My parting remark is that we have a lot to get from the Commonwealth if we work together. The countries are equal. There's no one lives in an island. Nowadays, we all share issues of human rights, issues of gender equality, issues of environment, and all that. There's no country that can really be independent. We need to work together closely as Commonwealth for the benefit of our people.
All right. Thank you so much for being here, High Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right.
It must be my pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. You may just take a seat.
Okay.
All right. Now, that was the High Commissioner of Kenya to Namibia, that is Michael Sialai, and he was talking to us about the celebration of Commonwealth Day and the meaning behind it. We will be back shortly. Stay with us.